how would you like to achieve your first million? And today we have Kristin joining from Canada, and she is the founder of Modern Health Solutions, but also is a real estate investor. So, Kristin, tell us, what are the 5 steps that you recommend entrepreneurs out there to make your first million?
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
So to really break it down simply, first, learn the rules. You have to learn the rules of whatever it is you're doing and understand it. Second would be seek the truth for truth's sake. Seek the truth. And third would be to make it your life. Your vocation is your life. Your life is your vocation. And the fourth would be, which goes with this, connect with other like-minded people, whether that's mentors or peers. Immerse yourself in that world. And number 5, once you accomplish all of those things, you start making your own rules. And once you have that mastered, then you can't help but make money.
Okay, and now, Kristin, let's expand in your 2 passions. You have 2 passions. One is real estate, and the other one is medical solutions, is health, right? So let me ask you a question, because my first business was in real estate, right? I'm very grateful. We managed to sell over 5 million, and probably everything that I have achieved in my life, it came, and all the crazy businesses that I had done during my life, the part of them have been financed by my real estate business. So, however, my truly passion is to do this podcast, to do conference around the world, to help people to grow the business. I love this thing. Yeah. And having, every day today is my podcast day. So I do a lot of interviews, and wow, my day goes to meeting a lot of amazing people. I'm on fire. I don't know if I'm doing this podcast for yourself, guys, or for me, or for the audience, So, however, real estate, it was a great vehicle to generate wealth and to actually go to have some resources and some experience to go for your really passion, you're really calling. So is that the same journey that you experience somehow, or you like both for equal? Tell us a little bit more about this mix, about real estate and health solution, which is pretty similar like my one, real estate and, speaking around the world and training companies to grow. What something doesn't have to do anything with the other one, but maybe, yes. Tell us a bit more.
Yes. So that's one of those things. It's like, I think this happens with all of us, is you just kind of go through life and you don't realize that you're collecting all these experiences along the way. And then all of a sudden it all comes together and it's like, here you go. And so I finally made it to that. My goodness, it was quite the journey. And so, but there's things that I'm just obsessed with in life that I just can't get enough of. And one is sciences, specifically quantum sciences. I've been involved in quantum sciences for the last 2 decades, long before it became. I'm finally cool. I was not cool then. I'm finally cool now. And psychology. And, and then I had this weird third one, real estate. And so I became a real estate agent. I got my first taste of flipping a house and made a bunch of money. And I was like, oh, this is fun. And so became a real estate agent, helped other people, became an investor. Then I owned a property management company. I'm just into it. I love real estate. And it's just something I've been passionate about. And this is why I say, if you're going to build a business, it has to be your life. You have to be into it. You have to be wanting to be with other people that are as passionate as you are. And so that just happened naturally. And so health, that happened to me. I went through a 10-year experience of a very debilitating disease. I was on my deathbed. I was running a product-based company from my bed. I was having my organs shutting down. My joints through my whole body were deteriorating. I was told I needed 4 joint replacements. I was not doing well. And so I tried very hard to go a holistic way. I spent hundreds of thousands, in trying to cure myself. And clearly I started finding some answers, and I'm 6 years now in remission. And because I had all these answers to something that is thought to be incurable, people are hopeless in these autoimmune conditions. Now, I mean, there's been a lot that happened between then and now, but now we have a program and a platform with myself and dozens of practitioners that help people cure themselves of these diseases that they're thought to be incurable. So, I mean, how can you not be passionate about that? How can you not show up every day and want to do that? And so this is why I say, when you're really into what you're doing, money chases you. It's like, don't do it for the paycheck. It will follow passion. So because I'm so passionate about health, and we need to see our systems change, our medical systems change, it's just evolution. Here we are. And so I've created an integrative health system, and big companies and private systems say, hey, we want that. And I went, okay. And they're like, we also need buildings, and we need to figure out how to put this all together. And I was like, I could do that too. And so that's how I became a real estate strategist and a medical system strategist. And sometimes I do just real estate strategy. Sometimes I do just medical system strategy, but it's what really pays the bills, so I can focus on building this integrative system for affordable healthcare for others. So it's amazing.
Wow, it's fantastic. Yeah, you see, Steve Jobs always said that you don't know how you want. You go through a journey in life, and you don't know how the dots will connect backwards. You don't know where are you heading, but at some point everything will get connected, and you say, who's gonna thought that this what I did is gonna be a great contribution what I'm doing now. And has been, like you say, it's a difficult journey to find what's your passion, what's really your call. Actually, because it changed, your goals that you have 20 years ago, that who you want to be 20 years ago, maybe it's not who you want to be 10 years ago, and maybe it's not who you want to be now. So it's a vision that evolves, and it's a roller coaster like this, trying to find yourself what really is your passion. But number one, let's talk about the real estate thing, because 1 out of 6 guests that come to this podcast, they are property investors, real estate investors, right? And 5 step out to make the first million. So our listeners might have the wrong assumption. Wow, become a millionaire in real estate is easy. Let me go for it. Yeah. And we totally tell you, go for it. However, the fact that a lot of people come to this broadcast with this background, everyone do different strategies. There is a process. Like, look at you become a real estate agent. You get you did one flip, it works, and you build from there onto a property management company. I own a property management company. We sold over 5 million doing this. It's a lot of work. I mean, don't get me wrong. Yeah, it's very intense, more intense than what I thought.
Yep.
So you won't get bored for sure.
No.
No, you, no, your team. You will never be bored with that business. But anyway, so what advice do you have for our audience that want to start a business? I want a good vehicle, because I do support that property is a great vehicle for entrepreneurs to start the journey, because I think that is something that is easy to understand. We all live in houses, and we all pay rent and things like this. So I think I always say never invest or never do something that you don't understand. That's a big risk. I think houses, they are easy to understand, and also it's what I call it a high ticket product. Basically, you're selling a product service in that space, and you have a big markup. They are all high tickets. I used to have a restaurant, so imagine I used to have property management when I rent one room on one house, and after 1 year or 2 years, I don't have to do anything. And then I open a restaurant business where I have one table to find 10 clients for the same table. I'm like, this business is a nightmare. I'm not used to
Oh,
this.
yeah.
Who's doing this? Every time that I see a restaurant owner making money, I give it a hug. I say, man, you're a genius.
You're a genius. Yes.
You're
And
my
that's
how you do that? That's what I said. So you should be doing something else. That's what I'm telling the restaurant owner. Look at me. I'm passionate about food. I said, man, you should be doing something else. You don't know. You're pulling this off. That's it. Christine, tell us a little bit, especially for yourself. Did you find the real estate because somebody told you? Somebody told you, hey, if you want to be an entrepreneur, this is a good source. The other thing that, most entrepreneurs that I know, they all invest in houses, or they all have at least 2 houses or whatever. So they all understand and do a little bit of real estate. So how you end up in the real estate in the first place?
Yeah, so it just happened to me. I was an industrial electrician when I got into real estate, so very different. And most people
very good. At least you don't need to pay for electricians, right? That saves some money, yeah.
And so, it just so happened I bought a house in an area that I knew was going to have a bunch of projects coming in. There's going to be people moving into the area, and it doubled in value in a year. And I went, oh,
wow.
And so then I started to really learn about real estate as an investment vehicle. And to this day, real estate is the best investment vehicle. And I make that as a statement. It's not just an opinion in the world, because you could buy a house, buy no insurance, have it burned to the ground, and still have the property worth more in 20 years. So this is the thing. And what other investment vehicle can you put a percentage of the value down and then have someone else pay the bills? It's just like, and it goes up in value and the mortgage goes down every year. I mean, come on, this is like no brainer. And then of course there's people who say, well, I don't have the money down. Well, guess what? If you're passionate enough and you learn enough about real estate, you will find people that will split with you. You split the equity, you do all the work. They're happy to put the money in because it is such a safe investment. It is not
for the faint of heart. And it's a space for everyone, Christine. It's a space for everyone. If you have the money, if you don't have the money, it's just an excuse if people don't go into this. But at the end of the day, 100%.
But you have to be into it. You really do. You have to be, because, for me, it was just took me over. I was so passionate about it. I took all the courses I could get my hands on, and I would continuously study. I was watching HDTV, which is a TV platform here, which is like, I was constantly watching shows on housing and flipping and doing all these things. So you have to really understand it and get into it. And it's a bit of a learning curve. And to this day, I'm a professional strategist. I teach people how to navigate real estate, and I'm still learning new things.
100%.
You never stop learning in real estate. So it is an amazing investment vehicle. It's an amazing way to earn an income, and there's multiple ways to do it. You don't just have to become a real estate agent and call it a day. There's so many ways to earn an income through real estate.
Basically, Christine, you're getting a depreciated asset, which is the money, and you're buying something that appreciates,
it's a no-brainer.
You're buying with something that depreciates, something that appreciates.
And that's it too. And there's a system in place that helps you do that supports you in purchasing that. And, if everything falls apart in society, people still need a place to live. They still need a roof over their head. And so that's why I love residential. To me, it's the safest avenue. And I love it. It's just such an amazing way to earn an income.
Okay, now what advice you have for this? Now let's talk about our side of the audience, that they're the brave entrepreneur. They're in love with everything you say. They're gonna jump into it. And then, when you make a mistake in real estate, it's expensive, 50, 60, 100,000. Some people never go back up. Some people never can go back up again. I hear stories, So how can our listeners mitigate that risk and understand really that, is lucrative? You can make a good income. However, we do have to be careful. We need to have the right coach. We need to have the right mentor. We need to have someone that actually has achieved the goal that we want to obtain. Otherwise, it's a big risk. And I think our audience should be aware of it, right?
Oh yes. And so that's the thing is the thing is about real estate too is once you've been in it for a while, you see the cycles. You know exactly what's coming next. And you're like,
100%.
okay. Basically, the rule of thumb is in real estate, do the opposite of what everyone else is doing, and you will make money. So, we went through that big recession in the world from 2008 until 2011. It was real rough. And I
Nobody
owned a
was
lot
buying
of real estate.
houses. That's the
I
time
owned
to
a
buy
lot of
houses.
real estate. Yikes. It got, but you have to get super
You are
creative.
like, crisis is coming. Yeah. Like me, yeah. Like me, yeah.
You do get to that point where you're like, oh my gosh,
You're
it's
excited.
like, you're ready. Yeah. It's like when everybody's buying, you're selling, and when everyone's selling, you're buying, and it gets really fun, but you have to have the guts for it. We know that real estate's a cycle. It's gone through its cycle for millennia, and it's
around 10 years, that is a cycle.
Yeah. And so this is why I said you have to be passionate, understanding, and you have to have the guts. When the going gets tough, you have to get creative. There's creative solutions. So during that time where everyone was losing their shirt and their life savings in real estate, I made the most money I've made in real estate is during those dips because I was willing to get creative. And so that's the biggest thing. So yes, mentorship is good, and also learning by doing. Experience to me is
Developing the
number one way to learn.
Yeah. At the end of the day, if you want to become good at real estate, the more you practice, the better you become. There is no other way. Develop the skill. Yeah. Now let's talk about your truly passion. Yeah, because there is first tell us, because sometimes we try to solve the problem for ourselves, and this is a lot of entrepreneurs that actually have come to this podcast and they share the story. They say how you started the business. They're telling me, okay, Harry, I have this problem myself. I solve it, and then I decided I'm going to help other people to solve the same problems, right? And I think that as an entrepreneur, you have some health challenges in your life, and somehow you clearly are full of power, full of energy, so you don't look sick to me anymore. so and you actually like an entrepreneur, we don't take no for an answer. If somebody tell us this you cannot cure, you will say, okay, I will find a way. So, and embracive, holistic, and non-invasive solutions. But the body have the ability, and at some extent, to heal itself if we actually are on the space, right? And if we actually be present of basic things of what we eat, and maybe if we have an overacid environment, maybe it could be our habits. So tell us a little bit more about this journey, about your second company. What is really driving you to push this and to go David against Goliath? Because we're talking about companies that have billions and billions of dollars, that they want that continue with this health system that we have now. That I think that should be the opposite. That out, when you sick, should be free, and you should be paying what you're worth. So now everybody's is worried to make sure that you're healthy. But what happens is the opposite, no? When you're sick, then you pay. Well, so then it's more convenient to be sick, no? You make more money, right? So I think that the whole system is the other way around. And so tell us a bit more about this. What is your view? And tell us about your company.
Yes, so that's the thing is this is my heart-led company. I mean, both are heart-led, and I always go for the win-win-win, and that whoever I work with is here to create what I call the new earth. There is so much opportunity for us to now step in as the people, of the people, for the people, by the people, and create a new way of living. And we're doing it. I'm seeing it all over the place, all different socioeconomics, billionaires down to homeless people that are stepping into this. And so for me, I always knew that I would be part of the solution in the healthcare system. Since I started getting well, I just had that feeling that I was going to be a part of this. And again, my education and background led to this, but I didn't know. And so what we've developed now is an integrative healthcare system. So, we'll take the best of the allopathic system. So the allopathic system is a system that gives drugs, surgery, and antibiotics, that type of thing. And that's our current conventional system that we're working with. And again, it's not to vilify it.
Sometimes one pill can save your life. That's true.
Yes, there is exactly life-saving procedures. They're really good at acute problems. They're really good at solving a problem.
We're not gonna go also like, well, I'm not taking any pills, so to the extreme, because a little pill can save your life. Yeah,
that's right. Sometimes medication's the answer. And, for the short term, especially while you're getting well. So this is the thing, is we don't know what we don't know. So holistic care, on the other hand, that's all the alternative medicines. That's using the body's own natural resources and allowing the body to heal itself. So an integrative system merges those two together. And so that's what we've created. And it's a no cost and low cost system. And not only do people get now the treatment they need all in one place, they get it at a specific cost if they're getting that really individualized care. And that's it. Not only do they get well, they stay well. It's exactly as you're talking about. It's like, first we have to get you to stasis. First we have to get you to the point where your body's operating properly. And then we can put it into hyperdrive, because longevity, biotechnology, the advancements and understanding the human body is next level. So not only can we heal ourselves, we're going to see people living way longer lives in using the body's own natural resources. And, we just didn't know what we didn't know, but now we know. And it's not just one thing. So I'd love to say, just do this and you'll be cured forever. It doesn't work like that. It's an individual journey. That's why we created it, so that you can go through step by tiny step into getting into wellness. And we've seen it in all ages, all different types of disorders. We've seen people cure themselves of MS. We've seen people cure themselves of fibromyalgia, rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, all these really big, tough autoimmune conditions that are just plaguing our world. 60% of people have autoimmune conditions now. 60. That is not okay. So that's the number one leading cause of death now. And it's the way our society is set up. It's the way we've been taught. And again, we're not going to vilify anyone and say they did this to us. No, we're just going to go over here. We have the solutions now, and we're going to be this runaway society that creates health and well-being and community. It's just so amazing.
So then, Kristin, so now let's talk about exactly, because if you empower your autoimmunity system, right, which is my understanding that a great part of it is in our gut, right,
That's part of it.
Yeah. So, how share with us some tips how we can get a stronger immune system, because like this we get less often sick, right? I think that this is very important, because even when COVID came, right, there were people that has really hard time in COVID times. There were other people that handle it pretty well, and that's all depend of your defense mechanism that you have in your body. The truth of the matter is that if you have a weak defense mechanism, a simple flu can scale. So tell us, what are the secrets, or what discovering have you found in how to increase the levels of immune defense of our body, which is crucial to don't get sick and to don't develop illnesses, right?
Sure. Yeah. It's not going to be what you expect. That's the thing. So
I'm looking forward to hear about it. Tell us.
So my background, I have a PhD in metaphysics, which means the study of the basic nature of things. And again, I always love science. So I examined the existence of human consciousness through science. And that has been an amazing experience. And I didn't realize how much it would come into play in creating this system. And then I went back to school and got my psychology degree so I could explain to people the mind-body connection. So yes, nutrition is very important, because what we need to do is clear our cellular health. So what has happened with our cellular health is downgraded as the generations have gone on for multiple things. Traumatization through all of the world wars and the fear mongering, that has caused the physiology of our brain to shift and how our thought processes are. So when you think about it, how our body connects with our mind, when you think something, your body has a chemical reaction. It will put out certain chemicals. Some of those chemicals are disease feeding. Some of those chemicals are health building. So it really comes to mastering the mind. And it's a catch-22 because we also have to clear those cells now, because what happens is when we're in fight or flight, which so many people have chronic anxiety, depression, fight or flight symptoms, traumatization symptoms, so many. And it's like people that don't, I'm like, how did that happen? Because it's like, because it's just so, it's a typical thing that's happening in society. It's not normal. We've normalized it, but it's happening to so many people. And so because when you're in this fight or flight, constant alertness, your cells are very intelligent. They will hold on to those chemicals until it's safe to flush and release them. Well, if you don't get to a point where you're relaxed and feel safe to flush your system, your cells are constantly communicating to your DNA, hey, we're in survival mode. So your DNA will downregulate to create survival in the body. And so what we need to do is we need to flush those cells out completely, and that's through nutrition, mental health. And what happens is as those cells flush out, naturally our DNA upregulates, becomes health building. Now you're in a health building spiral, so it reverses. Wow. Yeah, and I know, amazing, hey? And then and then what happens from there is the channel becomes more clear. Your brain physiology can change at any time. So when you are doing the work and actually changing your brain physiology, you now have blood flow in the prefrontal cortex, which makes much better decisions. And what happens, your body becomes naturally clear and you become more spiritual. You become more spiritually in tune. It just happens to you. You don't even have to worry about it. So that's the thing. Healing is a natural side effect of clearing that channel.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you, Kristin. Yeah, and we're going to expand a little bit more for us to the entrepreneurs, right? Because let's face it, when we're building a business, it's challenging, right? At the beginning, we don't know anything about business. We start like you, for example. You flip a house, you double your money. Oh, that's fun. Let me go for it. Well, you build a business after that, a property management business, which is a complex operation, right?
Yes.
And to define in another way, a positive way. And and it's all of a sudden you have to make hundreds of phone calls. All of a sudden you have to deal with clients that probably, I don't know, if a boiler got broken at 1 a.m. and it didn't work and the client was called, he decided, well, I'm not going to pay. And you are, wow, why is that so unfair? I cannot fix this boiler 1 a.m. And now the client doesn't want to pay. And you need to deal with that, with the undoubtedly generate a negative emotion. So what happened with all these negative emotion built in a business? You start in a business, your supply pay you, want to sell you the products very expensive because nobody knows you. Your clients want to pay you less. Same thing. Nobody knows you. And you are in this spiral and all this. And then now you're doing all the work. You don't have even money to employ anybody. And you are exhausted. You're tired. And all this happening to you at the same time. At the same time, your parents telling your parents, well, why you don't find a job? And then your friends doesn't want to talk to you because they are all employees. And now all these negative emotions coming to your head and you're trying to build something and all this. However, this is what we discovered actually, is that all these negative emotions, if it get accumulated, exactly what you said, and you cannot flush them out, it become, this emotional pain can become a physical pain. People can end up with cancer, can end up with heart attacks. Actually, the business can literally kill you. We're not joking. And one entrepreneur here in this very same podcast we interviewed a long time ago, and he has 3 businesses. Each business was turning over $1 million, and the guy was vomiting blood. And he told me, well, Harry, I decided that I'm running this business. This business is not running me. So he took a flight. He went to Thailand for a year. and I am well done.
Amazing. That's a huge
Yeah,
leap for
yeah,
you.
you know what I mean. And now he's fine, very strong. His business is still around, but
Mhm.
he's like, what's going on here? So it's very important what you're sharing with us today, and it's not something that's coming from a storytelling or from. This is actually how it works.
Mhm.
Look, you are a scientist. I mean, I only got degree in chemical engineering. Look at you with all your PhD and everything. You do know what you're talking about.
Mhm.
Yes, so don't believe me. They should believe you at least. Yeah. So, but then, Christine, and it's not only for entrepreneurs.
Mhm.
Even if you're not an entrepreneur, again, if
Yeah,
you have those
we've
negative
expanded.
emotions
Mhm.
in your at work, if you're an employee, your boss, I don't know, is shouting
Mhm.
at you or something, and you develop these emotions, you don't have any way of channeling or
Mhm.
flushing that.
Mhm.
Um, it will become a physical pain, and it will become harmful for your body. So tell us a little bit more about this flash out system, Christine. How for me works very good to go for a walk. I love it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's keep me relaxed and calm. It says I agree 100% what you just describing, and it's true
Mhm.
when you are at peace, in peace,
Mhm.
um, that change your state of mind. I'm
Yeah.
fortunate enough to be in a point of my life that I don't need to prove anything to anybody. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
this is an amazing place to be. You don't need to
Mhm.
run to prove anything. I
Yeah.
just don't care anymore.
Mhm.
And I'm happy with what I have done in my life. I'm happy with myself. I'm happy with what I achieve. I'm happy with
Mhm.
what I do with the
Mhm.
people that I'm surround myself around.
Mhm.
So I'm very calm. I was not that before,
Yeah.
especially starting the business at the beginning with the real estate and the property money. Oh my God, at some point, it's you're tired, you're angry, you are like,
Yeah.
this. I'm
But it's
building
also
this business just for this, and you don't even understand what's going on. So how do you find out? How do you learn? I did learn in the hard way. I have to start to do a long journeys of personal development. I did become a coach to help other people. In my own journey, trying to help other people, I started to meet, training my clients to grow the business and to grow. I realized that I need them more than they that they need me. Because they were health coaches, they were nutritionists, they were a lot of uh, different spectrum of experts that
Mhm.
while I was helping them to grow the business, I learned a lot about the business. I have to because to guide them better. And they would tell me, Harry, try this and Harry, try that. So all this stuff that I share with you, my clients actually had taught me this stuff. Yeah, so I have
Mhm.
some understanding of what you're talking about because
Mhm.
they had taught me, and I also I have a process also. When I do, as you can see clearly, yeah, I love eating. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, but since now is long time, I'm very careful what I eat.
Mhm.
Yeah, I try to keep it moderated, which is a huge challenge for me. Yeah, I'm trying to eat healthy, which is a huge challenge for me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I love everything that's unhealthy. I love. Yeah.
Mhm.
Uh, I'm dealing with, I can tell you, right? Somehow, I don't know how, but I think that I'm addicted to bread. I love it. And
Yep.
I think I'm addicted to carbs, yeah, because you remove
Yeah.
the bread, then I look for the pasta. You remove the pasta, and I look for the rice. So
Mhm. Yep.
whatever, you remove one thing, I will find something else. So now, and again, it's not that carbs are bad, it just has to be moderated as the rest of the nutrients, right?
Mhm.
So but it's about to be present. So I'm telling you that I'm pretty confident I'm addicted to carbs because I have an understanding what's going on or how my brain works, and I had to
Mhm.
deal with my internal brain. But I have a good news. I'm losing a lot of weight. Yeah, since I started the podcast, actually, yeah, I think I started the podcast like 6, 8 months ago, and a lot of people came, a lot of head coaches came at the beginning with zero fat and these muscles and Harry, you can do it, and I'm interviewing them, and I'm like, well, you know what? Let me pay more attention to this because it's actually really important, and
And
so I'm more happy, more calm, more
Mhm.
healthier. I'm losing
Mhm.
weight, and but it's all about knowledge, and it's all about to be at the best that we can be, and to have and create this positive state of mind like you're
Mhm.
talking about, because the body eventually, little by little, will start to heal itself. So, what some more tips about
Mhm.
help us to flush this negative emotion for people out there suffering?
Sure.
And
Yeah.
for me,
So
and for me to improve, I'm
yeah.
always looking for improvement. Yeah. Any tips
Yes.
how
And
any tips how don't get addicted to carbs? That will do.
yeah. Well, that's the thing is it is an addiction and because your body wants that sugar, right? And that's what carbohydrates turn into sugar in your body. And I won't get too deep into nutrition because nutrition is an individualized path. It really is. For me, I have to meet the person, see what they're going through. Everyone's different, where they live, what culture they're from, what their genetic makeup is.
Different
So
bodies
many
absorb different things
Yeah,
as
so
well.
different.
So,
And so something that works really well for one person will not work well for another person. So
100%.
but bottom line is nutrition is important because we were talking about how back in the 80s it was, oh, it doesn't matter what you eat, just how many calories you eat. We now know that is very much not true. And because it gets broken down into atoms and molecules. When we think really down into the cellular level, we really think into that microcosm. What's happening at that level? Well, there's receptors that connect to all of these things, and then it helps to build a healthy cell. But if you're only feeding your body high carbohydrates, that isn't real fuel. It just gives a temporary energy burst. That's why you're addicted to it, because it's like, okay, I'm going to get this temporary energy burst. And then what it does is it takes all the extra sugar and stores it as fat in your body. And so
And made me
it's just,
sleepy, by the way. Yeah.
yeah,
Maybe it's low and
exactly.
sleepy.
Yeah, this is why you have the ups and downs, because you're having insulin spikes. And so nutrition is important. Mental health is important. You don't know what you don't know. This is why we built what we built, because it's the education piece. It is understanding. This is why I say seek the truth for truth's sake, not what makes us feel comfortable. Get used to being uncomfortable. And so it's seeking the truth for truth's sake and saying, okay, I don't got it all under control. Yes, I'm very good at this, and this, but this part over here, I need some work. And it's admitting that. And the biggest thing too is community. We have been so isolated. Human beings are not meant to be isolated. We are meant to connect and collaborate and build community together. That is a big piece. Being with someone else with the same struggles as you that is a little bit further down the path and they've made progress, or seeing someone who's completely overcome what you're trying to overcome, is huge. It's then you are more motivated when you have those hard days and things get more difficult, because transforming our health is not just transforming our health, it's transforming our life. Like you said, as making these changes, you're now starting to feel more calm, and starting to lose the weight. And so you can see the positive effects. It doesn't just affect how we feel or how long we live, and it affects how we live. It affects how we show up. It affects everything. When you have vibrant health, the energy levels you have, my energy levels are through the roof. I will get up at 7 a.m. and I won't be done work or hanging out with people and chatting and just like this until 8 o'clock at night. And I'm still like, that was the best day. It's because I've invested in my health, and it took me getting to my deathbed, literally on my deathbed, to wake up to that. So I say to people,
Wow.
don't learn the hard way like I did. It's like, and I had to learn the hard way. There wasn't answers. I tried to find the answers. And so that's why I'm so passionate about bringing them to people. And you don't need to live with chronic anxiety and depression. It's not necessary. You don't need to live with chronic health conditions. You don't need to live with autoimmune diseases. You don't need to live with cancer. You don't need to live with Lyme's disease. All of these things can be reversed.
So, Christine, let me ask you something, about the probably, when you got sick, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that it was because accumulating a lot of stress and a lot of
and relationships that
toxic
the
relationship?
environment. Yeah, the environment I had chosen, the relationships I had chosen. I didn't think for myself a lot of the time. People would say, Kristin, you should just do this and this for me. And I would be like, okay. I didn't even have an identity of my own identity. And so
basically you were helping out everyone and
I forgot I existed.
and the relationship the relationship
and I forgot
you forgot about yourself, right?
myself. Yeah, exactly.
So now you're exhausted, you're tired, and sometimes now the negative emotions are coming like, why? I have helped this person a lot, and today I need a little bit of help, and she's not calling me, or he, or happening business also, right? With the clients, the relationship with the clients and the suppliers, sometimes if you have toxic clients and you have toxic, I mean, with my property management, don't get me wrong, but I used to have 177 tenants and they all want to talk to me. And I'm thinking, these people are going to kill me. There are too many. They don't care. They don't care if something is broken. They are calling me if it's 1 a.m., 2 a.m., and they don't care if I sleep, if I don't sleep. And I'm like, I'm only one person. And then the landlords and the suppliers and the maintenance, everyone, I'm thinking, these people are going to kill me. I had to, and they're not even going to notice, and they don't care. And I'm like, what? So I started to build, little by little, exactly that journey. And I'm glad that we came out on the other side. Yeah. Yeah. I'm still, I'm a little bit shabby because of this also, it was a part of the process, that I still need to work on. I'm always working in progress, try to become the better version of myself. But for me, led to a lot of obesity. Yeah, look at me, and you are an expert in the field. Look at my definition of productivity. I will wake up when I have my property management business. I will wake up, and guess what? I'm not gonna eat anything in the whole day because I was busy taking thousands of accounts of everybody. And then 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, when I cannot even move finger, that's how tired I was. I'm gonna press a button and I'm gonna call. There was 2 restaurants close to my house, one Chinese, one Indian. They have like 100 numbers in the menu, and it was so easy that I always order the next number. So I don't even need to say Harry. I was so tired I couldn't say even my name. So I just press the button, they pick up the phone, and they were telling me number 56 coming, Harry. Okay, fine. And so a restaurant meal will come, whatever is on the number. So I'm not checking what is healthy, what is not healthy, what is, it just something. I didn't have the energy to even order a healthy food, and it will come to my house huge. I will eat. Of course, I'm very hungry. I haven't eaten the whole day, and then go to bed. So imagine what they have done to my health. I'm still, detoxing my liver and doing a lot of things in my body as a reaction. But that was my definition of productivity. Look at that. Yeah, I was thinking that like this, I don't waste time eating, right? And look, it was so my body took a hit, right? It reflects. You can see I'm still a little bit chubby. So, but it's good that we realize that we took the decision like, hey, we are running this thing. This thing is not running us. And Christine, all the millionaires that I know, they all will change all the millions for one more day of life, right? So health is our first priority, and be calm and be happy and be full of energy and do things that we love to help others, you see, and try to help more people. However, we do have to be careful how we look after ourselves and how we show up for other people, right? Because business is, if you're running a large operation, there are a lot of people that you're responsible for, and that's what they were calling me, right? So until I didn't build the structures around that, first thing that I did, I remember I had one manager, her name was Eva. I said, Eva, I'm no more Harry, you are Harry. And she's like, what? I said, this is your job? So I said, what do you mean? I said, this is your job. Everybody that calls, I want to speak with Harry, will speak with you, and you will sort it like you were me. And that's how we're gonna. If I took the wrong decision, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Take it. We will improve it. But better wrong decision that everybody on top of me all the time, right? And it was great. Another thing that I did in my back on the in the real estate is I put my phone in silence, right, in mute, and 18 years after that, it still is in mute. So can you imagine how calm is my life? You want to talk to me, no problem. You text me and you tell me what time, and I go back to you, and we have an amazing, powerful meeting. But I realized that all these people that were calling me, they were urgent for them, not for me. They would drive me crazy. And so one tenant calling you, and then the other is a plumber, and the other one is a supplier, and the other one is, and my head is like all like this, and it was clearly affecting my mental health. So I put it in mute, and has been one of the biggest discoveries of my life. Yeah, simple things like this, right?
Well, two things you just brought to light there that's really important. Learn how to delegate, and so that's a piece of advice. I think I just saw it in a YouTube video one time. I was like, that is really great advice. Is hire as soon as possible. And learn how to delegate. And a tip from Tim Ferriss was really good, is delegate and give a cost limit. So it's like, if it costs up to $500, you make the decision yourself. If it costs over $500, then come to me. And then, yes, if mistakes are made, great. That's part of it. You just are okay with that. And that's exactly it. Another one that you brought up is this: when people are constantly calling you, wanting something from you, it's really important that all relationships you go into are mutually beneficial or reciprocal. And you don't have to receive energy the way that you give energy, but there has to be an even exchange of energy in the relationship.
Yeah. So any tips for our audience to flush out negative emotions?
Yes, well, it's mind mastery, and that's why we created the platform. It's no cost program, so just get in there and get working with us. And that's the thing, is it's really a step-by-step process. So like I said, I can say, do this, this, and this, and you'll be great. No, it's not like that. We're unlearning so much from what we learned, and we're relearning a whole new paradigm of existence. So many people, what I just explained to you, that's the first time they'll ever hear anything about cellular health and how our mind-body system works. It's so mind-boggling to people, because that's not how they were taught health works, right? And so it's like, when you hear it, you're like, oh, that makes sense. But you couldn't have figured that out yourself. Like, it's just one of those things. You don't know what you don't know. So my advice to people is work with people who know. This is why I said, like, make it part of your life, and make it a priority in your life, because everything else will benefit from that. Your relationships with the people close to you, your bank account, your sleep. Like, sleep hygiene is so important, getting that good sleep. There's just so many multiple factors of what creates amazing, vibrant health in people. It's not just what we put in our faces. And so it's really is mastering yourself is the biggest part. And many people, it's like they want the quick fix, they want the short-term gain, but that leads to long-term pain. So it's take the short-term pain, which will lead to long-term gain. So you talk about running your property management company. I can so relate to what you're saying. But that's part of it too, is when you're getting into something new, there's going to be some short-term pain, but the payoff in the end, long-term, is so worth it. So it's do the work, and step by step. It doesn't all happen in one day. I have this at my desk. I'll show it to you.
Oh, yes.
I keep it with me because I have to remind myself. It's like, everything you can do today, you can build. This is what you can do today. this is what you can do. This is where you'll get to, but this is what you will do today. And is remembering it doesn't all happen all at once. We would get system overload and then not make any changes because it's too overwhelming. So it's one tiny step at a time.
Absolutely. And then, Kristin, looking after yourself, right? And I think that one thing is that you manage to heal yourself. The other thing, even more powerful, is that you manage to identify what caused the illness and work on yourself to improve it, right? I think that this is something that is most important thing is like you can improve to make sure, because otherwise, guess what happened? You're gonna be well, but if you continue with your same relationship, toxic relationship in business, at work, or whatever, then what happened? You're gonna end up in bed again.
Yeah.
So it's not about only out to heal yourself. It's also shifted the paradigm, so it never happen again. And who gonna know? Who gonna know that just because you have these people around you, they're not necessarily need to be bad people, but the influence they have on you, and the way that you saw your relationship with them, actually keep you thinking that how unfair this it was, and the thinking every day, exactly what you describe, create these negatives. So you actually self harm yourself, and this is what actually happened. This is happened with my dad as well. My dad, he has this true story. My dad has an operation, cancer operation, that he almost died. The operation was so big that how you call it? It was 3 teams of doctors to do the operation. It was something really. It was even in the news. The operation in Spain, and it was in the newspaper. The operation. That's how complex it was. Yeah, it was a throat cancer, and I'm looking down the line and said, my dad is very healthy. What just happened? And what happened is like 2 years ago, 3 years before, he got fired for his job. He got so angry about this situation that he got sacked, and it was not fair, and how he's gonna provide for me of my brother, and how we as kids gonna see him because now he doesn't have money, and he started to build all that story around the incident. And he was more upset and nervous and anxious, and 2-3 years on the line, a huge problem, cancer, that he almost died for it. So and this is actually what happened. So probably most of, when you look back, the illnesses that people have, and you look back carefully, it's even us that we are, our mind can actually, in the same way that can heal us and lead us to be healthy, can actually, like we described before, this emotional pain become physical pain, and can be very harmful, can literally kill. So I'm glad, I'm so proud of you, so happy that I can tell that you're full of energy, because this broadcast has been for an hour and you still like, yay! So you're definitely, I was saying, the team, yeah? So thank you so much for joining, Kristin. Thank you so much for being a source of inspiration for our entrepreneurs. Thank you so much for sharing these experiences with us, and to talk about something that not too many people talk about, especially in the entrepreneur world, where we all want to make money and make profits and make millions. Yeah, that's why everybody coming here, right? 5 steps how to make the first million. Everybody like, wow, let me see how Kristin showed me how to make money. Yeah, let me get some inspiration. But we all want the entrepreneurs to be wealthy, happy, and healthy, and that's the truly journey. It's a 360 degrees. Yeah. Unfortunately, when you say about making million, everybody comes and listen, and now we can convey other ideas around. Thanks God that everybody want to make money.
There's nothing wrong with making money. And I encourage people that, that are kind-hearted, giving, spiritual people to make money. Do it, because money in the hands of people like that is so much more powerful. Money is a tool. It's not a thing to be accumulated and stacked up. It's a tool. And, I have made a lot of money and then reinvested it all. You got to go for it. And it comes back to you. It always does. And it just cannot be your primary focus. You have to love what you do. You have to really care about it. And money chases passion. It does. And you'll find out for yourself when you truly step into it. You can't trick the universe. So you can see you.
So, Kristin, how people, if somebody's in love with our conversation, want to learn more about what you do, and they want to know more, how people can find you, how the process works. I think you're brilliant. Yeah, you're brilliant.
you.
I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy
Thank
for you, and happy for me also that we managed to go through this and to work on ourselves and now be on the other side, that at least we are aware, because building the business, even aware what's going on, but that now at least we are aware. And even if we're doing something like like sometimes now that I'm eating healthy food or something, I'm very aware of what I'm doing. Yeah, I know that it's one off, could be a birthday of someone, could be somebody, but this is not something that I will do anymore regularly. I'm very present to it. Yeah, so I'm glad. And also with our state of mind, yeah, it's if you have a bad day, if we all have a bad day, I don't know, go for a walk, meditate, drink a lot of water, eat healthy, and the next day is going to be better. And this is how it's going to be. So how people can find you, how the process works.
Yeah. So if someone is experiencing an autoimmune condition, chronic physical illness, anxiety, depression, come and meet us at Modern Health Solution, .com. And so a Modern Health Solution, I don't know why I named a company that could have gone either way, but I did. Anyway, so modernhealthsolution.com. There is no cost and low cost group care and individual integrative care that works. And if you are interested in working with me in real estate strategy, so I only work with people with multi-million and billion-dollar portfolios and or projects. It's really fun to me. And so if you are building out your own personal real estate portfolio and you don't know what's next, or you have a real estate project development you want to re-strategize your existing portfolio, you can find me at drkristinwild.com, and that's all I's, no E's. And so I would be happy to meet with anyone that fits within those demographics. I'm here for it. We're living. Let's be alive. Let's go for it and have the best time ever.
Thank you so much, Kristin. And for all of you listening and following our podcast, see you in our next episode of Unstoppable, how brave entrepreneur like Kristin break down wall and achieve the first million. Bye for now.
Bye.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.